Ryan WISNIEWSKI. Ryan has been fighting evil for more than a decade with expertise in driving security transformations with both small-scale and large-scale organizations. Ryan leads various tactical and strategic efforts to ensure the continuing success of his business. Forever a student, Ryan enjoys learning from others, sharing his knowledge whenever he can, and invites folks to stop by and say hi or reach out on Twitter at ry_wiz. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and turn over the mic to him.
Thanks, sir. All right, we got to get more people in here. So on 3, we're all going to yell, everybody get in here, okay? 1, 2, 3. Everyone get in here! I got 1. Oh, we got another one. All right, so like we said, my name is Ryan WISNIEWSKI. Yeah, I do everything security, everything IT. If you guys have a hard time, there's a couple eye charts on here. Feel free to go to the Twitter. I got a pinned tweet there with the slide deck there. Otherwise, this direct link right there. Go ahead, download them, check them out on your laptop if you can't see the screen. But we got a pretty big screen today. So today we're going to talk about ransomware, destroyers, basically anything that could go wrong with your environment to the point that you're basically at desolation. So a lot of the examples I give, they might sound exaggerated, they might sound fictitious. They're not. These are real world situations. A lot of small businesses, a lot of schools, a lot of charities, they have underfunded IT and non-existent security. So we really need to think about what are we going to do in case we do get hit by something that just absolutely devastates our environments. So since I started giving this talk, there's been a couple news stories. Anybody not pet you? Okay, couple. Were you impacted or just know about it? Okay. So yeah, it's a pretty bad one. About $10 billion estimated right now. Maersk, Mondelez, there's a couple other FedEx got hit. It was a bad one. Anybody see this one on Twitter? So there's a small email hosting company, VF Email. They're very transparent about their incident response. But essentially, they caught the attack during the middle of the wipe, basically, and he's just writing zeros to all of his backup servers. They really haven't recovered. They lost all their customers' emails. Anybody working 07, 08 right now? Yeah, you get your spreadsheets out. By the way, pro tip, biggest blue team tool, Microsoft Excel. Couple news stories this week. Florida, Baltimore. You guys hear about these? So, anybody trading Bitcoin around here? Anybody watching Bitcoin? What's it at today? 11, 12? Yeah, so here's another talk. Anybody that wants to give a talk, go submit it right now. Ransomware occurrences with the cost of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's back on the rise, you're going to see ransomware coming up again. So these things actually happen. So although that this is definitely a hypothetical, never happened, I swear, let's take a hypothetical. So you're sleeping, about 2 o'clock in the morning, you get a text message from your boss. It says, hey, a lot of people are complaining, stuff's down. You take a look at the network, it's probably a firewall issue. You log on a server and you see this. Or maybe you see this one. How about that one? Anybody know what that one is? WannaCry? Anybody? No? It is a little important. Or maybe you just see this in the case of VF Email, where they were just writing zeros to your hard drives. So what do? We got incident response plans, right? Well, we know it's important. We just haven't got around to it yet. We had bigger problems. We had to upgrade our Microsoft Exchange servers first, and then we were going to get to incident response. Awesome. How about disaster recovery? Oh yeah, we have disaster recovery. Jim runs it every 5 years, and it's great. Well, where's Jim? He retired 4 years ago. Excellent. Anybody know how this stuff was built? Do we have any system documentation? Oh, yeah. Remember Jim? All right, that's fine. We can do this. So, we are at a point now that we assume that our servers are ransomware, they're wiped. Maybe it was just a huge corruption on your storage. For some reason, your computers just aren't working. What do? So Step one is to breathe. This is going to be awful. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be one of the worst experiences in all your life. But afterwards, you can come talk at B-Sides, so they got free beer. And remember to think, okay? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's from the U.S. Navy. You don't have time to screw up in these situations. Anybody know how long their company can stay down before you're declaring bankruptcy? Anybody? All right. If you guys don't know, use a barometer of 2 weeks. Why 2 weeks? I can't hear anything. Scream. Pay period. Thank you. It's really hard to keep employees if you're not paying them. It's really hard to run a business without employees. At minimum, 2 weeks you can be down and you're going to have problems. Okay? So you don't have time. We can't risk a reinfection after we start recovering this. All right, step 01. Engage your legal counsel. If you don't have one, go to outside counsel. There are very special things. I'm not a lawyer. I can't get into them, but you can work under privilege if you engage legal and they engage the incident response procedures. Let's say you don't do this and the case does go to court. Everything's discoverable that you found. If you go to legal first, you get to work under privilege and not much is discoverable. It might save you in the future. All right, so now we got incident response guys because we're underfunded IT. We don't have a security team. We don't have dedicated IR people. So we called out somebody, Mandiant, whatever it is. Our job is to get this company back up and running. So we got to figure out how are we going to fix this. So we got to say, what do we know? How do we stop this from getting worse? And are we going to accidentally make it worse? Right, that's a bad thing. Don't do that. So what do we know? So I'm going to venture 90% of infrastructure kind of looks like this. You got these old legacy Windows boxes that just kind of exist because you haven't figured out how to migrate them yet. They're kind of sitting in the back corner. They're running some legacy stuff. You got some stuff in the cloud because cloud is cool. That's where everybody's going. You got clients running Windows, maybe some Macs, but haven't seen that in a lot of places. And then in the corner, you got this really dusty black and blue or green. It says IBM on there. It's either a mainframe AS400. It's just something that you can't figure out how to move off of economically, so it's still there. Now, where are we at? So this is what we're seeing. Every single Windows system is impacted by whatever we just got hit by. We see some C2 traffic leaving both our client and server networks. We see malicious traffic being passed back and forth internally. Clients. So we see accounting come in, they power on their machines, about 2 minutes later, all of them go black. Payroll comes in, same thing. So we're kind of in this mixed situation on if you have a client, right now you're impacted, but you're not affected. So maybe you have the dropper installed on all your laptops, and they got a timer on there on next reboot infect. So we're in this little mixed state. IBM ERP, yeah, it's chugging along, it's doing okay. Cloud, yeah, we're getting some alerts from there, but the servers themselves look okay. So I told you it was going to be interactive. What are we doing? Who wants to go first? Not everybody at once. I'll start off. Update resumes. Okay, that's going to be the first one. Okay, what else do we want to do? Give me a hand because I can't see. Anybody. There's no wrong answers. Yes, sir? Block C2. Excellent. What happens if, let's say the virus is installed, talking out C2, it's got a kill switch in there. You lose connection to C2, it just wipes. Something we got to think about. But maybe we stop him in his tracks. Anybody else? Oh, we're going bankrupt quick. Okay. Identify. Okay, so maybe this is a commodity hardware off the shelf. The encryption keys are already up there. Maybe, maybe not. Anybody else? Anybody want to do anything on the network? All right. I'll let you guys cheat. So we can power down the systems, right? If we power down the systems, maybe we lose forensics. Maybe we stop it. What if we disconnect the internet? We're going to bring the business down. Maybe we stop C2 though. Maybe it stops spreading. How did they get in? We're not sure exactly yet. Do they have one of our user accounts that's spreading? Maybe we disable users. Should we power down the IBM stuff? It looks good. Should we power down the cloud? So once we have a kind of idea of what we can do, we need to figure out what impact it's going to have, right? Is there a kill switch? We're going to probably bring down the business if we're bringing down internet connectivity, network connectivity, right? If we disable all users, well, we got nobody working. So we got to weigh these and weigh these pretty quickly. Because again, this is probably an hour 1, hour 2 of response. We need to figure out exactly what we're going to do. So most of the cases that I work, this is what we do. We disable routing between the environments. We disable domain accounts, not just domain admin, but actual domain accounts. Now that we disabled our accounts, we send people home. So something interesting is going to happen in your office too. You're going to find out that the rumor mill has a mind of its own. It's going to get out that you had an incident if you're sending people home and all your systems are dying. You are not going to believe the stories that you're going to hear. Oh, well, the guy that was working on our printer, he kind of looked Russian. Do you think he was a hacker? No. You guys got popped 200 days ago and you just didn't know it. But try to control the rumor mill and then go get management to go figure out how to keep this company afloat without technology. Management, they're very good at very little, actually. So they're very good at figuring out how to make money and managing risk. That's about it, though. Keep them out of your IT shop. So we got this, right? Here we go. Business is down. More questions. What's broken? How bad is it? What do we need to fix, and what do we do first? Let's go answer them. So, what's broken? Be very careful on how you ask this and who you ask this to, because this is what you're going to get. Okay? I actually got video of one of the breaches that I was on. It looked like that. Right? So it's bad. So rephrase that one a little bit. What do we need to do to stay in business? All right, this is actually a better question. People can run with this and go figure it out. Okay? Most of the companies out there, this is what your business cycle is going to look like. You got to be able to take orders, make product, ship product, pay bills, and receive money. It's that simple. That's how businesses work. It's a little bit different if you're in technology, but it's all about the same. Figure out what you need to do to stay in business. Okay, now we know how we make money. What do we need to do that? Red teamers, anybody? I guess I should ask. Red team, nobody. Blue team, couple. All right, I don't identify with colors because I do absolutely everything in my job. Oh yeah, those are my people. So how do we do these things? So you are now on a black box pen test. You are going to be scanning the bejesus out of your network. You're going to be looking for physical assets. You're going to be looking for anything. Okay? Here's a few ideas of what you should be looking for. Anybody work in a data center with a raised floor? Pop the tiles off. I found a DR binder underneath the floor in one of these shops. Okay? You are looking for anything and everything. Okay? At the time, don't dismiss anything as old or outdated. It might be on there. You might got a pop by a server that nobody even knew still existed. Draw this up on a whiteboard, okay? Because this is what we're looking to get to. Problem is, this is what it's going to look like to you. This is what it's going to look like to other people. Okay? So, again, remember? Blue Team Handbook, Microsoft Excel. Put everything in Excel. Things get done. Okay, so we're going to create this matrix. We're going to say what's our critical function that we're supporting, what systems are supporting it, and what state is this system in. Right? So we're just kind of walking through a basic system recovery procedure at this point. Right? Have we scanned it? Is it affected? Do we need to restore it? Do we need data on there? Have we tested it? So we're going to move forward on this. Make sure you're using colors. Management loves colors. They don't understand exactly what that is, but they know green is good, red is bad. Okay? Put this up on a big projector like this, find a TV, wheel it out of the war room, make sure that people can see it without talking to you, because the last thing that you want is them coming to you every 20 minutes for a status update. And it takes you 10 minutes to draft a status update, and you only get 10 minutes to work out of that half hour then. Don't do that. Make sure that your nose is to the grindstone, because you got a business to save. Okay? Now, so how do we restore this business? Well, we got a backup system. We're going to put in this quarantine zone, because we can't risk a reinfection. We're not exactly sure when we got popped. We're not exactly sure what even hit us. So at this point, we need to restore and see if the restore is infected. This quarantine zone is going to be crucial. And then you notice up there I got new network. We're not restoring to old network. Okay? This morning, the Verizon data breach. Anybody there? A couple of you? Cool. So one of the first cases they talked about was a ransomware where they got a domain admin account and launched a ransomware. So they cleaned up the ransomware, that's good. They still have domain admin over your network. great. Like next week, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to get really good at this. If they got domain admin, how are you cleaning up that domain admin? How do you, all right, so I'm going to make another generalization. If you got popped by this, they got domain admin, they ran rampant on your system. How many want to bet that they have Cisco on their network switches? Or admin Palo on their Palo firewalls, right? You're not sure exactly what you still control. Chances are nothing. It's going to be bad. So we need to build out a new network with new authentication servers. Depending how bad it is, maybe new switches. Are they rewriting your firmware? You're not sure at this point. So we got to gauge quickly exactly how big of a rebuild effort this is. But we got one problem up here. Yeah, you were running old Windows as your backup system too. He's also gone. Maybe you're part of a wiper where they hit the backup systems first. So, what are we doing? Update resume, right? Oh, come on. We got offline tapes, don't we? Who here has some type of offline backup that is saving them from ransomware right now? I should see every hand. If not, I hope you have a good Bitcoin wallet, okay? Because what's going on more and more is they understand that most people are just recovering from ransomware attacks and it's no big deal. So they're targeting the backup systems first. If you don't have offline that is protected from an actual write, you might be up a creek. Make sure you have some type of offline. I don't care if it's direct disk, tape, don't care. Make sure that it's protected, okay? So we're going to build a new backup system. We're going to rebuild all of our tapes, and then we're going to start restoring into the quarantine. Where am I? Quarantine. Quarantine system, out of band, air gapped, and that is not in quotes air gapped. That is physically air gapped. That is in a different rack with no communication to the outside world. You have a monitor physically plugged in. There's no RDP. You cannot risk a reinfection. I'll say that over and over again. Because right now, we're probably, I don't know, 24, 36 hours into the incident, and we still have nothing, right? We're just starting to restore system by system. Monitor for IOAs, IOCs, indicators of attack, indicators of compromise, and verify that that data is clean. Then we go to new network. All right, I'm going to start bringing candy to these, get you guys talking. What do we want to build in a new network? Because there's a funny thing that happens when you get breached. Guess what happens to the pocketbooks of the executives? We can go build whatever we want. So what do we want to build? Oh, you guys are still updating your resumes. What do we want? What do we want? Yeah. Network segmentation, excellent. We can't spread to all systems if all systems can't talk to each other. What else we got? I'll just pick on you. I heard somebody. No? You guys are gone. Next. All the cool tools that we couldn't buy before. What's your number one tool? You can't go wrong. Okay, he's dropping in security on you. No, excellent. What are we going to use it for? Monitoring traffic. Excellent. Something, right? We probably don't have anything because if we had something, we probably would have noticed it. We're monitoring traffic, right? We're going to rebuild our Active Directory because that thing's gone. What else we got? Here we go, cheat sheet. So we got network segmentation, new Active Directory. Let's go get a SIM. Go roll in Elk if you want to roll in Security Onion. Go. I think Splunk has a 500 gig trial license. Go throw something in. Make sure that you have something, because here's another cool thing that happens. Anybody here have kids? What happens when you take the kids' toys away? What's the only thing they want back now? All right? We just took the attacker's toy away. The attacker wants back in. So they're going to come back. This time we're going to be ready for them. Multi-factor. You probably got popped because you had OWA exposed, single factor. Password spray for, let's see, what are we in? Summer 2019. They got 30 users and they tried each one. Oh, look, VPN is also single factor. They're in. Not difficult. Multi-factor that stuff. Patch managers. Chances are we got hit by either, pick your favorite, 0867, 1710, 0708. We didn't patch. That's why we got popped. Patch your stuff. Check your patches with a vulnerability scanner. You got Nessus, you got Qualys, you got free stuff, OpenVAS. Do something. Anybody here running IR toolkits? EDR with like full shell access to your clients? If you're not, check out GRR. It's made by Google, Google Rapid Response. It's basically a rootkit that you install, but you can take remote memory forensics. So when you do get hit again, you can grab the forensics from your remote sites even. Really good stuff. You can kill processes and stuff. Yes, sir? Google Rapid Response, GRR. Okay. Throw up HTTP proxy, email protection, you name it, right? Now, here's the challenge that we're going to have. We got a lot of work to do now. So, and we're also running the recoveries in the background. When do we know when to quit? So, can you perform your critical functions? Are you getting paid for the product that you're shipping that your customers are ordering? Right? How much longer can we keep the business down? We can put in a lot of stuff because we don't have change control, because we don't have to worry about breaking systems. They're broken already, right? So how much longer can we keep the business down? Prioritize your work based on how much time you have, and then how much more can you do without any sleep? Guarantee you're not sleeping. It's going to be, I don't know, my record is 168 hours, I think. You start seeing stuff, it's much better than beer. Like, if you're a cheap date, just stay awake. Define these ahead of time so you don't have to think about this when you're in the 9th hour. Okay? Stupid tips of recovery, 3, 2, 1 of conferences. Everybody know that one? 3 hours of sleep, 2 meals, 1 shower. Yeah, these can become negotiable. Your war room's gonna smell, sorry. War room, get a war room manager. Get somebody to take care of the team, basically. Manage the caffeine intake, manage the food, manage the schedules, set up the phones, get the TVs working. Go buy USB drives, save everything. You're not sure what's going to be discoverable if this does hit the court systems. It's part of one. About 6 years later, they actually were subpoenaed for some old email records, and they didn't have them because they were gone. But because they had an actual evidence and everything, they put that to the court case, and it was actually dismissed due to whatever, again, not a lawyer. But because they had everything, they could prove that they actually didn't have it and they weren't holding it back from the court. Last part, secure out-of-band communications. The last thing you want to do is communicate new credentials over a compromised email system. Don't do that. If you have corporate phones and you think those are breached, don't use them. Go buy burners, all right? So, moving on, second half of the talk. Yeah, that was awful. I don't ever want to do that again. So how do we do that? Well, again, I like asking questions. So where are we weak, and how do we prioritize the work? So SysP's in the room. Anybody? Got a few. Hey, gap analysis. So we're going to look at where we are. Well, we know where we are. We're pretty bad. We know where we want to be. We want to be pretty good. How do we get there? That's what we're going to talk about. So where do we want to be? You can try to define a framework on your own, or you can just go steal somebody's. Right? Come on, we're all hackers here. We're all pirates. Let's go steal somebody else's work. They do a lot better anyways. Okay, go. So I stole NISTs, and I made it really pretty for management. So here's one of the eye charts. Feel free to steal it. Got the link at the bottom. But basically, I broke down NIST 853 into these very easy to understand control cards and organized them by your response phases. And then I threw down a little 1 through 5 tracker on it to make sure that we are where we want to be. So here's the zoomed up one. I saw a couple cameras. Feel free. I really hope you're not recording me. All right, so here's the zoomed up version on one of them. So you can look at, anybody read NIST 853? It's wonderful if you can't sleep. Yes, you know my pain. It is awful. So there's a whole section on physical asset inventories and all the things that you have to do. Or you can just say physical devices are inventoried and rank it 1 through 5. Okay? So we decided on this one, we know we don't have any inventory system, so we're a 0. We want to be a 3 though. So let's talk about what a 3 actually means. So capability maturity model, again, SysPs, SISMs, they teach us all in the management, the boring stuff. So we talk about 1 through 5. 1 is a very ad hoc process. This is a single person defining what the answer is going to be. Okay, so this is really typical in small shops where you are making all the decisions. Step 2 is you kind of know how you're going to make the decision. You have a kind of framework, but nobody else does. So it's still dependent on you. Number 3 is an actual defined process. You can take a playbook or you can take a process and hand it to somebody, and they're going to get the same results that you did if you both follow the same process. Number 4 is managed. So this is a process where we have exception reporting and alerting, and we're finding out where the process screws up. And then to get to 5 is we take that feedback and we feed it back into product development or whatever portfolio we're working on, and we continually improve this process. Okay? I had it on the last slide, I think, but not everything should be a 5. If you have everything as a 5, you're probably mismanaging your budget and your money, because every dollar we spend on security is not being spent on making money for the business. So, like it or not, we still are a cost center. We can try to change those words around as much as we want to get whatever budget we need, but at the end of the day, we don't make the company money unless we're a security company. Okay? So, we're at a 0, we want to get to a 3. How do we do that? Well, we throw in an asset management program. Right? We set up some pretty lofty goals on what we want to do. You know, if we have an asset, we want to know where it is at all times. Simple as that. So we throw down some basic objectives, and we do this for every control. And what happens is you end up with this portfolio. You'll notice that like 5 or 6 cards fold into asset management. You'll notice 13 might fold into vulnerability management. And there's more. These are just examples, but there's more groups out there. And what you're going to see is you got a lot of work to do. But if you get all this done, you have a pretty good security organization at this point. So again, we're coming off of week 3 probably of recovery. What do we do first? This is where we're threat modeling. All right? This is how we prioritize our work. So there's a couple different models. You got data definitions, you got data flows, you got entity relationships. We can make it more complicated and talk about the geopolitical relationships of the Middle East. Yeah, right. We just got hit with a basic ransomware. We don't need to worry about that. This is what we need to worry about, okay? We have things that are protecting them, and then we have bad guys, okay? So let's break that down. It's kind of a risk-based approach. So got this idea of loss expectancy. So on the X, we got likelihood of something occurring. On the Y, we have the impact of the occurrence. So anything on the top right is going to be a big deal. We're going to lose a lot of money all the time. That's bad. We need to fix that. Bottom left, we're going to lose a little bit of money. Never. Don't care. Don't worry about it. The other quadrants are a little bit more difficult. So let's say we're in St. Louis and we're threat modeling an earthquake. Yeah, if it happens, it's going to be really bad. Likelihood of it happening? Probably pretty low. And we're going to have bigger problems if that hits. Right? But I don't like spending a lot of time on those and figuring out exactly how to justify it. So I have one model that takes us one step further. I call it bang for buck. So we take that loss expectancy that we just calculated by taking impact times likelihood, throwing that on the Y, and then ease of implementation on the X. So on the left, we have very difficult projects. On the right, we have piece of cakes. Now what we have is top right is a no-brainer. These are things that are easy to do, and they're going to mitigate a ton of risk. Anybody here running LAPS, local admin password solution? How hard is it? Dead simple, right? PowerShell script, GPO, you're done. Anybody that doesn't know what LAPS is a tool provided by Microsoft for free. What it does is it rotates all your client local admin passwords. So if you don't have this, chances are you're running with company password 123 exclamation or something as your local admin shared across all your clients. So if I get on one of your clients, I dump hashes, I now have the password for your local administrator on every laptop and maybe server. LAPS rotates that automatically for you. It gives you a little GUI that you can look up the password for the client at a given time. You can press the rotate button. So if you do need it, it's there, but it gets rotated. They're different, they're unique. It is dead simple. It's like a 3-step process. Put it in change control, get it done next week. That's a no-brainer. Big projects, top left. These are things like zero trust, micro-segmentation. These are things that are going to be awesome, but they're going to be hard. Okay? Bottom lefts, again, don't pursue. We don't care about those. Bottom right are kind of things like when we have time. They really don't mitigate much, but we know they have to do it. And, these are like Crosssite scripting on an internal, only visible to internal, and it doesn't really impact anybody. Yeah, we know we have to do it, but when we have time, we'll clean it up. So cool. Now we have what we need to do. We know what we need to do first. Let's go do it. So we're going to obtain resources. We need people, right? Whether these are 6-month contractors, whether they're full-times, that's something for you to decide, right? But we have a lot of work to get done. We have to figure out what's the best way to get it done. Go get the budget for it. Go govern the progress. So we have an empty checkbook. Anybody know how long the blank checks last after a breach? It's about 3 to 6 months. Then you have to start proving yourself and justifying your budget. So go govern the progress, right? Show fancy charts. These aren't hard to make. They look great for management, right? So govern the projects, reprioritize based on business need, continue your gap analysis, and congratulations, we're all CISOs. All right, everybody on 3, ready? Yay. Whether you like it or not, this is kind of the work of a small security manager, CISO kind of thing, that you're going to kind of have the responsibility of now because you are the expert in the company. Now, where you take this from here, that's going to depend highly on business need and your relationship with the executive board. But essentially, we just took the company from absolute ground zero, things are literally on fire, to, you know what, it's not bad. And we have a roadmap forward, and we're starting to get stuff done. So at this time, I'm tired of talking. I really like to make this a discussion afterwards. You know, war stories are fun. Email, Twitter, slide shares. Thanks, everyone. I'm willing to stay here as long as you do because there's nobody in here till 2. Cool. Anybody for the group? Otherwise, I'm just going to stay up here. Yes, sir. Laps for Windows land. Anybody Linux administrators here that has something similar that rotates passwords on Linux? I do not. Right. I would custom write it because, and my code's going to be ugly. Yeah, Labs is all GPO based, Active Directory, you know, shenanigans. Comment was there's a lot of paid projects out there. Labs is free. Anybody else for the group? Otherwise, I'll stay up here till everybody's bored of me. All right, thanks, everyone.